Exactly. So what we were getting, yeah, the topic I had was really is this concept. And I wanted to explore this with you a little bit. And I think I did mention it to you this the other day. So it may not be new to you, but it is the single biggest problem everybody makes in communication, whether it is in person, whether it is on a piece of email, and they're ending it, and they do this thing where they want to be nice, and they totally blow whatever the hell that it was they were in there to go do.
Okay, now what's that?
It may not be a big issue, but no, I'm just so to wind up. No, so the issue is they go through this whole thing. In fact, there's this great sideways selling email that came through the other day. Went on and on and on. The guy talked about marriage, right? It was sideways selling, total marriage. It was great. It was actually a pretty good thing. It was connecting with people, all this kind of stuff. And he gets to the end and goes, now, if you ever need anything or have any, any interest in financials or whatever, please feel free to contact me. It'd be a pleasure for me to talk to you. So let me know. And he ended it, and then he ended.
Mm-hmm.
This is marketing. This is a sideways selling email that came out, right? And it was great until that ending. And he blew it.
What's so terrible about the ending? Tell me what's wrong with it.
So the problem with the ending is that whenever you say, hey, let me know how I can help, you have just blown it. You haven't given them anything. Nothing's going to happen from that. All you're doing is being nice to them, right? And you're hoping to get something from them, but they're not going to call you because you haven't done the thing you need to do with them. You got to give them a specific circumstance and the context from which what they should think about you when they hit that context, and then call you. If you don't do that, oh no, sorry. If you don't do that, you're wasting your time.
Okay.
So that's the thing. And we do it in person. We shake their hand. We do it at networking events. We do it in email. So I want to get your opinion back and forth on that. But the idea is this. Okay, great. When you are in this one, this is a financial one. This is in a financial publication and an email I've been getting because one of my clients is in the financial world. So I've been paying attention to those. And I said this to him as well. I gave this to him as well, this whole thing. But it's kind of like when you are considering whether to do a 401k or a Roth 401k, and you're finding article after article that is conflicting each other, right? Call us. We can make it so that we can end that confusion for you in about 5 minutes.
So it's a specific situational call to action. It's just instead of just a general nicety call to action.
Yes, and it does something more. Okay, this goes back to the thing. If you this, I'm not telling anybody anything new. If you go to everybody, you get nobody, right? If you go to very, the more narrow your segment, you get everybody. When you give them something specific like that, they go, this guy knows financials. They go generic. You go generic, and they say that guy isn't good for anything. If you go generic, and then everybody opens up. Okay, see, I'm a little passionate about this.
It's right? True, though.
I know. Isn't it? So go on. Yeah, go.
Yeah, if you need to convert a 401k into a Roth, whatever, very specific situation, then we specialize in that. And we know all about that. And at that point in time, the audience just assumes that now they're a financial expert of all kinds.
Well, they hear it because of the way you phrase it. First off, your phraseology. Second off, and the important part in there was part of it is the when you're finding article after article that's conflicting, right? Because what you're saying is you're giving them knowledge they didn't understand, that there's issues where there's all kinds of opinions out there that are conflicting. They didn't know that existed. So they may have found one article. And now they're walking out. They're already smarter. Let me know I can help you. They're not smarter.
You're giving them dissonance that they didn't have before.
Right. And here, what's funny, I read this whole thing, and he just totally wasted my time because the fact that I had all these connections going with this person with the sideways selling, right? Mm-hmm. All these connections going. And I'm like, this is actually a pretty good. I was actually saying to myself, I'm reading it, this is actually pretty good sideways selling. This isn't bad. He's really connecting with me as a guy who's I think the title was, I've been married for 25 years and blah, blah, something. And it was like, wow. And so it was like, this guy's really connecting. And talk about the struggles of marriage and a couple of little things in there. And you're like, oh yeah, kind of thing, right? You're really relating to it. And it's having an effect that is, and then he just, like I said, just completely blows it. Because you're not thinking of. I have nothing told me he knows anything about finances. All he told me was he's a relationship guy. And now I actually almost distrust him more.
Because he didn't pull the dog whistle out at the right time.
He didn't pull the dog. He didn't make the little thing in there, because you're able to give people something unique. And by the way, these should be worked on. That's the thing. So I think there's always two important things to anything. It's the opening and the close, right? That's the thing. We should work on that on these sessions. In fact, right, is a little the opening and the close kind of a thing. But those two things are the most important for people, because they're the most memorable for them, and everything in between, they can piece together if it's done right. They can bring it back in their heads, but those are the two things that'll be the most memorable. So that closing thing, it opens so good, and then that closing thing, if you can nail that, it's a really good thing. And I don't know, have you run into that before? Is that like brand spanking?
Oh yeah. And it's funny because some people, it's really common with Frank. Frank Kern has excellent technique. Stuff he does. He's like a natural when it comes to certain things. He's a natural with marketing. He's a natural with charisma, and he'll do something. He'll do a Facebook Live and he'll say, oh, and if you want help with your blah, 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 just, hit me up at cardonekern.com. And someone else will take that and try and imitate it. And they'll do exactly what you said, which is do something really general, passive and whatever, and non-specific, and wreck it completely. And they'll go, it didn't work for me. I did it the same way that Frank did. And they didn't at all. It sounds the same, but it's not the same,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And that's the hardest thing is especially because they'll say I said the exact same words.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They think it's the words, and it's not the words. It's the person. It's here's something interesting, right? It's where the words come from, which is another thing in person, right? But it's where the words come from. That's a straight. That may be okay. I'm going off the reservation now. Okay. Oh, wait a minute.
What place those words come? I understand that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what I mean by that is that when we duplicate others' words, we're saying it from a logical perspective. What were the words? Okay, I'm going to say the same things. This is like me. Look, I'm actually not bad on video. I don't think I'm bad. I'm not saying I'm a superstar. I'm not. But I don't say I'm not that bad on video unless I go and I do my own video with nobody sitting there in front of me. And I'm pathetic because I'm in the wrong part of the brain. Where it's coming from, it can't come from any place natural. I need that person sitting across from me talking, right, or next to me, or whatever it is, right, and then it can all come out correctly. And that's where it's coming from. Well, that's just a natural where it's coming from. But really, there's a whole thing to be able to understand. There are different parts of your body that you're activating different things, and if it's coming from those parts, it will make a big difference. But mostly where they're coming from in a lot of the people's mind is up here, and they don't know how to open or close. And they don't spend time on that, so they're coming from the wrong place, and they come out wrong in the words that come out. Like in this email, let me know how I can help, or they're coming out wrong in the way that they're being used within the story that they're presenting. Excuse me. We got a long way from that actually goes that gets into a little bit of the woo-woo area, doesn't it? I kind of crossed the border there a little bit into that.
See, the woo-woo area needs to get into.
There's total value there. There is, but you can't live in woo-woo land. That's the only thing.
No, you can't go there and never come back.
Exactly. That's it.
You got to use your woo for a purpose.
That's right. That's right. Exactly. I love that.
Yeah. Finding the one valve to tap on at the nuclear power plant,
Exactly.
It's like, and that's a lot of what I do with my consulting is try and read into somebody what they actually aren't telling me, and that's right. Where the woo comes in, So like you were asking before, what's the one thing that you can knock it out of the park where people miss and make huge mistakes in their business, and that is the easiest, chip in for the win. when it comes to consulting. And for me, that's usually that one thing where you know what valve to tap that's stuck, in the nuclear power plant. And for me, it's always customer follow up. So
Interesting.
It's an amazing coincidence that certain size businesses that are in the 1 million per year revenue ballpark, $500,000 to 2 million, 3 million, somewhere in there. It's the one mistake they always make. They have their sights set on a perfect selling process, right?
Yeah.
We're going to get this traffic and give them this offer and give them this product, and we'll buy we'll make sure that our expenses on the front end aren't offset by the profits more than what we spend to get the traffic and all that kind of stuff. It's like an obsession with most people at that size of business is profitably advertising their product and selling their product. And it's funny, they'll be totally overwhelmed and not have any free time. And they're making 7 figures, but it's getting eaten up by all the expenses and the employees and all that kind of stuff. And they'll come to me and say, what can I do? What's your consult? How can I double my business and all this kind of stuff? And as universally, when I go down and ask them all the questions, because I usually do a full survey of their business, the one thing that they all have in common, and I've been coming around to this for quite a while, is that they have this huge list of customers or prospects that they have never sent a message to. They've never emailed them again. So like they make the sale for their main product and they're like, yay, we got a product sale. And then they move on to the next guy. Right. And they've totally never sent another email to that customer since,
Both my customers that I'm with right now are exactly doing. Absolutely.
And you can double their business if you put into place a follow-up system, a customer nurture sequence, where you not only get them to consume the product or use the product, but ask for another sale. Maybe you want another one of those. Do you have one with a yellow handle?
You call that, wow. And you call that follow-up?
Yeah, I generally place it in the category of a nurture sequence. But nurture sequence, for me, I'm a marketer, so a nurture sequence should also ask for another sale.
Of course. Oh, I see. Right. It's a nurture sequence, but yeah, I think of nurturing before, but yeah, I think of it before the sale, right? If someone hasn't bought, so you nurture them. You're thinking, oh, no. Nurtures anybody who's. It's all.
I only nurture my customers.
Yeah.
It's like they got the product. I got to get them to consume the product, love the product. First of all, so they don't refund.
Right.
I don't want them to get to the end of 30 days and go, I don't understand this thing. I'm just going to get my money back.
Yeah.
Because that's the case for a decent number of people in the online space.
Sure.
To get them to use the product, to get them to love the product, consume the product, and especially if it's a consumable product, you want them to have to reorder more.
Oh, right. Right.
And then put that in place so that they love the product and they want to order more and it's fun to order more and they want to give you money because you've given them so much value. So that's what a nurture sequence is to me.
Yeah.
Like a customer follow-up might be more appropriate, but just taking the time to take an employee, usually the head or one of the longest term employees in the customer service part of a business, someone who's been interfacing with the customers the most, take them, pull them out and say, for a week, you're just going to sit here and write emails to the customers. I just want you to write emails, talk to them like they're your friends, and just follow up with them and see how they're loving the product, to give them tips and tricks. Oh, and what people usually say when they come to me in customer service is they haven't figured this thing out, And here's a good trick on how to make sure that you figure this out, and it's not that hard, y'all. I'll help you through it. And just have the person in customer service spend a week writing emails to their lovely customers and helping them out. And then you plug that in once into an autoresponder sequence, a customer follow-up sequence, and you can 1.5 or 2 times the sales of your company just by actually following up with them.
Holy crap! Huge. That is huge. And very to your point, I bet you run into almost every customer, because I would say every customer that I'm working with right now. No, not every customer, but two of the customers I work with right now have that exact same problem. That's exactly what they have. That's just gold sitting out there.
That's just money sitting on the table.
Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy. And one of them's got this list, and they've had customers for the last 4 or 5 years, right? And they have zero upsell, zero follow up. None of that's happening. Zero. They get sold and they're done. 100% done.
And the funny thing is like internet marketers are the ones that preach this stuff all the time.
Yeah, and they don't do it.
Upsells and resells and all this kind of crap.
Yeah.
And they're the worst at it.
Because they just don't do it.
They'll get around to it someday.
Yeah.
They're like, no, I'm too busy making the front end sales. I gotta optimize my front end sales process, And it's like, well, you're just leaving money on the table, dude.
That's awesome. I love it. Well, you've changed my customers' lives. You just made millions of dollars more for a couple of people out in the world, no question about it. I love it. Look at you, Mr. Value.
I was trying to do that this time. Well, you said, what's the number one thing that people blow?
I know, it's great. Oh, this is really good. This has been fun. No, I love this, and I think we should. I don't know if we want to make this. We want to make this a regular segment or something like that coming up forward. But I think we'll do a few more of these, and then kind of a format will kind of come out of it, because we're still pretty early. This is only our third one. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got the other one from today, because we did two back to that.
Ixnay on a day today. I can't do Pig Latin.
Yeah, I know, I can't either. I can't either. I do a language from college, but we won't get into that now. So there you have it. There you go. Well, this is good. Excellent. Well, until next time then, yeah?
Yeah.
How do we wrap up?
How can people get a hold of you if they have a very specific need?
If they have a very specific need, they can email me at joshdanderson@outlook.com. Just email me directly. But they can also go to my website at coloredboxes.net or joshdanderson.com, and they can contact me there as well. Both are excellent. Yes, those are the two best ways to contact me right now. No social media right now. I'm not doing any social media right now. I know I should be. I know we've talked. I should be doing it, but I'm not. So how about you? How do we contact you?
Oh, mixedsynergy.com or dragandropwebsites.com.
What about Facebook?
I'm on the Facebooks, but
you're not doing Facebooks either. Oh, good for you. All right.
There's drag and drop websites on Facebook, and there's also Mixed Synergy Marketing on Facebook.
Okay, it's there. Yeah, so they can find you there.
It's all there. Info at Drag and Drop Websites is like an address that gets directly to me.
Beautiful.